Hello, everybody. I wanted to talk about something, kind of an extension of my video yesterday, about the love and kindness between people in the organization versus out of the organization. When I was growing up in the organization, I was always taught that, that famous quote, bad associations spoil useful habits, and you're not supposed to be friends with the world, and so I grew up pretty isolated from general society. The only people I knew and hung around with or did anything with were people inside the organization. And if they weren't, you had this fear inside you to even talk to them or do anything with them, make plans with anybody. You just don't do that. And they really keep you isolated from the rest of society. Well, when I decided to leave the organization, I was really scared. And literally, when I was 17 and had my first apartment and everything, I put a knife in my pocket when I would go to hang my laundry on the line. Yeah, we used to do that. Anyway, I was afraid. I was really afraid that people in the world were really out to get me, and I had a lot of fear about, even still, about talking to any of them or that. But I guess I was pretty fortunate in that I found some really good people to get to know. Most of them are still my friends today. I mean, I've known them for, 35 years at least. Some of them I knew before I left the organization. One of my best friends, I call her my sister because we're just like sisters. But we've been friends for over 40 years, and these were people that didn't have, have never been a JW or were a JW and left also. Most of them had never been a JW. And when I got to get to know them, I think after about the first year, it just kind of clicked in my head, and I'm like, there's a lot of really good people out here. People that'll really, do anything for you if they can, kind of people, generous and hospitable and loving and kind. And like I say, they've been my friend for close to 40 years, around that 40-year mark. And I'm like, wow, these are really nice people. Well, I kind of I got used to living in the world, yeah, and it got to be where I looked at people inside the organization as, man, they're really off the deep end. They just don't even realize, because I know how brainwashed and isolated I was growing up there. I told a lot of people I grew up under a rock, because really I didn't know how to exist in the real world. And I think JWs do that on purpose, to make it difficult for you to get along in the world on your own, because it makes it difficult for you, so it makes you want to go back to what's familiar and comfortable. For your family and members and stuff, you don't. A lot of them don't go back because they miss their relationship with Jehovah, like they tell the elders. It has nothing to do with that. They just want their families back and their friends back. And I understand. But after I got past that, it became, just ordinary. Everything was fine, and I did have a few things weird happen. But I was never hurt by anybody. Everybody I met was always good. So I had gotten married. I've been married more than once, I'll tell you. I sure know how to pick them. That's the old phrase, So I give up. I'm single for the rest of my life, because I just can't. I'm too I'm too committed to a relationship, and the people I pick generally aren't, so it just doesn't work out right. You know, so I leave it at that. But 2 years ago, my husband died, and I decided, well, I got my very first smartphone. Got my very first smartphone and started watching videos on YouTube and all that stuff, you know, and getting to meet XJWs who I had never even met an XJW, never even had a conversation with an XJW or anything until I got on YouTube several years ago. But I had made friends with a few people. Jerry Jones helped me set up my my YouTube channel and encouraged me to make some videos because he said the stories that I had and the things that I've been through would help a lot of people and that I should do it. And I was nervous about doing it. You know, most people, they make their own first video and you're like, oh, you know, but it's all good. You know, you meet a lot of good people and it's wonderful. But when I started making my own channel and everything, and people are so good. I mentioned it before in a video when like a year ago that I was making videos on my smartphone. It was taking me like I don't know why, but my little smartphone, it was taking me like 6 hours to upload a 10-minute video to YouTube. It was just a long time, and the quality wasn't real good. You know how cell phones are. And I started looking around. I was talking to Jerry Jones about what kind of a laptop I wanted and how much memory it would need to do the things that I needed it to do, and what kind of programs that I'd have to get to do the things I wanted to do and all that. And so he talked to a friend that he knew, and his friend, that's now one of my sweetest friends, she's a lovely person. She lives, you know, 1,500 miles away. She sent me this laptop that I'm talking to you on as a gift, and I was flattered and awed. You know, when I was in the organization growing up, I never had anybody that was as nice to me as people have been to me on the outside. I've been through a lot. The adjustments that I had to make to living in the real world from being, you know, raised under a rock. I mean, people have been really good. I mean, of course there's bad ones in every group. Yeah, whatever. But, you know, for the most part, I have better friends, more faithful friends, more caring friends, more loving friends on the outside than I ever did on the inside. The ones I knew on the inside, as soon as there was trouble or something happened and the elders had to talk to you about something, they forgot you were alive. They didn't even see you. You were dead to them. You know, they didn't stick. There was nobody to stick with you during the hard times. And the only people that I had in my life that actually stayed with me through the hard times were the people that were not Jehovah's Witnesses. And they were better and nicer to me and more loving and loyal and all that stuff than anybody inside the organization. Well, I had made some comments on a video the other day, or oh yeah, when I made my video yesterday, I mentioned that I didn't know at any time I could lose my Wi-Fi. I got a notice from them that it was going to be disconnected, and I didn't know when. And I thought, well, I could just log on to my son's if I had to, because the time frame that I'm getting money versus when things are due are a little bit off this month. And I was like, oh my God, you know, what am I going to do? But one of those other generous, loving, caring people made a phone call and paid my Wi-Fi for me. I mean, how outstanding is that? I never, ever in my 17 years in that organization had anybody ever been even that nice. You know, and these are people I've never met face to face that do these things out of the kindness of their hearts. You know, all of us are like that. All of us are good people. We'll help anybody if they need help. If they say they need something, if we can do it, we'll do it. We'll help them. But inside the organization, it's not that way. Those people, when you have hard times, they're gone. That's just the way they're taught. You know, somebody's having a hard time, you're gone. And you don't stick with the people, and you don't stay by their side and all that. Even, you know, every aspect of that organization trains you to behave and act differently than what true Christians and followers of Jesus do on the outside. And that says a lot. And to any JWs out there that have it in their head that bad associations spoil useful habits and you're supposed to stay away from the world and all that, you're being lied to. You're being misled. Because people on the outside are generally a whole lot nicer to you and love you for who you are instead of the things that you do. You know? And it's a lot nicer, friendlier place than you can ever imagine. There's all kinds of people out here to help you and stand by you and look out for you and give you encouragement and love. All kinds of people out here. And I've really been blessed since I've been in this YouTube community. I've met wonderful people who will be my friends for the rest of my life. I know. I promise. I know they will be. You know, but I just wanted to shed some light on the difference so that any Jehovah's Witnesses that have any doubts about leaving or walking away, I can tell you through my own experience over the last 35 years when I left the organization that I have met more loving, loyal, kind, generous people on the outside than I ever did on the inside. And like I say, today was another testament to that. I left my problems to God. I said, you know, I don't know what's going to happen. I wake up in the morning and I'm like, yeah, my Wi-Fi is still on. But somebody out of the generosity of their heart called and paid my Wi-Fi. I'm just really humbled. Makes me want to cry. You know? Y'all are great. I love y'all. You're my family. Be my friends forever. Talk to you later.